Okay, guys, we're going to start in our cross-legged seats. Sitting up real tall. I want you to reach your arms up into the ceiling. Stretch, reach, move the neck around, and move the shoulders around. Bigger, deeper breaths here. Find the places that you can go to with the shoulders and the places that are too tight. And whenever you're ready, you can let your hands come down. Lock the elbows, roll the wrists, do all the things in the arms that feel good for you. Until you're ready to rest your body. Find your seat. Stillness with the hands either on the knees or folded in the lap. You start to feel your breath moving through your nose. You'll start to notice the pressure that you're exerting in your posture through your spine. The subtle changes you can make to feel better as you round your back a little bit. You stop forcing yourself to sit in a specific way. Now I want you to inhale as if you are smelling the scent of a flower. And exhale to release anything uncomfortable in your mind or in your body. That means if your knees are lifting, you can readjust your body. Soften your belly a little bit. Relax your jaw a little bit deeper. And just start to find the rhythm in your breath. This rhythm in your breath, if you can stay with it, this is your conscious awareness. The rhythm in your breath, when it's sustained for long enough, it will release a certain level of stress that you feel. Exhaling it from the body. And you'll start to feel the beating of your heart, with or without your hand over your chest. You become aware of the relationship in between the rhythm of your breath and the beating of your heart. The way that they influence one another. And with this awareness, we're going to move into our first pose with our forward fold over these legs. Whether you use a bolster on top of your thighs or in front of your knees, or you don't use a bolster at all, that's up to you. Well, I want you to bring your chin downwards, your chest in the general direction of your feet. Maybe your elbows are moving in the general direction of the floor. You can kind of move left and right with your shoulders, push into the places that feel good and the places that don't feel good. Identify your center space and your stillness, and then use a little effort. Push into those hands and squeeze with the hips until you are ready to let go of your desire to change things. You push as hard as you want. The yin energy in this pose will be patient. They will wait for you until you are ready to soften things. And when you feel good, you will find the rhythm in your breath. And when you find the rhythm in your breath, you will feel good. It's that simple. We like the feeling of conscious awareness. It feels good. We like the feeling of releasing our effort. We love the feeling of accepting things as they are and finding the pleasure available within them. This is contentment. You see, before you can engage with yin energy for any sort of selfish desires, and I mean that in the best way possible, before you can make any improvements in your life, you must surrender to the will of that flowing force of energy. It's as if we walked to a river's edge, and I told you that the thing you desire most in life is at the end of this river, and this river will take you exactly where you want to be. You will be safe the entire time, but you will only get to where you want to go if you find the current in the river and surrender to it. If you try to swim and exert yourself and force yourself and change the things, you will never find what you're looking for. The key here is in exerting your effort until you find the current of the river. Because over there on the banks where we are, that's not where the current is. You got to get a little deeper. You actually do have to exert yourself to get into it first. And only then, once you feel that pull of momentum, that's when you soften things and let go. And in this place, you will be challenged with your duality of fear and trust. Do I trust this current? Do I trust that it's going to take me where I most desire as long as I surrender my will to it? But what happens if I surrender my will? Will I also surrender my desire? Will it still take me where I want to go? When you find these questions within yourself, you find the answer to your questions within the feeling of your heartbeat. It's your last breath here in this pose. We're going to sit up tall and exhale deep and relax the neck and the shoulders, the arms and the hands. Sit back in the hands. And let your legs out long so that you can release the pressure in your knees and your ankles. Bigger, deeper breaths feel good now. When you bring the soles of your feet to touch, you'll be in your bound angle foundation. Still sitting back in your hands, you can kind of just soften those knees up and down a little bit, find things that feel good, things that don't feel good. Find your breath moving until you get into stillness. Still leaning back in your hands. Lift up your chest. Elongate the arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit. And then bring your right knee. The right knee goes up so that the right foot goes flat. And then the right knee just continues that movement over to the left. Our right hand can come forward so that we can find our center of balance like this. And we'll just drag our top right knee back to the inside of the foot. And here we are in a place where when you lean to the left, it feels easier. And when you lean to the right, it feels harder. When you twist to the left, it feels even easier. When you twist to the right, it feels even harder. And you're looking for the hardest thing that you can do. And so as you twist to the right, you sink that right hip down into its socket. You identify the worst, most uncomfortable sensation that you can come to terms with. You find the movement in your breath. Relax the muscles in the hands, wrists, elbows, neck, shoulders. Exhale deep. Now, you are here to make peace with this pressure that you're under. You can always scooch over on the mat if that big toe knuckle is on the hardwood. You can find that you can twist a little bit or scooch to the left to drag that foot completely onto the cushion. It's up to you. Just like we do in every pose, we are pushing into the things that don't feel good and relieving ourselves from them. We have this idea about this feels good, this doesn't feel good. You hold yourself in stillness. And start to look for the feeling of your heartbeat again. If you need your hand over your chest, please use it. Feeling the heartbeat is the objective. Whatever you need to do that, you do. Understand that your inability to feel your heart or your pulse without your hand is perfectly normal, and yet extremely abnormal at the same time. There's no reason why our mind is not capable of finding certain nerves where we ask it to. There is no reason why without external stimulation, we aren't capable of feeling something on our own. Understand that stress, pressure, and tension, whether in the body or the mind, they manifest as a sort of an emotional block, a nervous system block, a disconnection between the nervous system and the mind. And some people will have difficulty feeling the heartbeat in the chest, but easily feel the pulses of the wrists. Some people could feel the pulses in the temples, but not the pulses in the wrists. And everybody has different blocks in different areas. So understand that on a basic level, the more pressure, stress, and tension that you are able to relieve from your experience through exaggerated exhales, the more deep you're going to feel. It's as if you've got a little stream that's all blocked up with algae. The algae is preventing the flow of the water. But as soon as you take a stick and you clear away that algae, the water starts flowing again, nice and easy. being blocked is perfectly normal. Staying blocked is perfectly abnormal. Perfectly unrecognizable. This inability to recognize the things that are always happening. This is our lack of awareness over things that we know theoretically are taking place. Sometimes this is for our best, and sometimes it is for our worst. Keeping your mind's attention on the horrible tragedies that are happening all over the world at every moment, it doesn't help you to feel good. But being disconnected from the beating of your own heart, that doesn't feel good either. And so you find yourself becoming aware of the things that you prefer to be aware of, and letting everything else go. Now, when you have a blockage in your body, and you're not capable of feeling certain things within the body, it's going to make you wonder, why is it that I have chosen to prefer not to feel this thing? What limiting belief am I holding that prevents me from feeling this thing which I should prefer? Now find relief from this pose by leaning to the left. Exhale deeply as you come off of the right hip and extend the right leg out. We're flat onto both of our hips. And we'll resituate our seat. We can use our bolster coming from the right side of our leg, so that the very edge of it comes underneath the knee. We're taking our forward fold over this right leg. And so if you want to move this left leg somewhere else that feels better for you, that's fine. Your objective is to fold straight into this leg with your sternum towards your knee. Squeeze yourself as deep as you can, tuck the chin around the shoulders, and then exhale deep to slowly let things go as much as you enjoy. And when you find your breath movement, I want you to identify the subtle muscle tension you're still holding in your body, and just come to understand that for some reason or another, you prefer this subtle muscle tension. You're choosing this slight discomfort. Because once you stop choosing it, boom, you relax, you soften, things get easier. Understand this through the analogy of the river. When you exert your effort to get all the way out there into the current, you know that theoretically you need to surrender your will to the current, and the more soft you get, the quicker you will get to your destination. But for some reason or another, you just can't let yourself relax there. You're still squeezing muscles, you're still forcing, you're still resisting. And however long it takes you to completely relax your muscles, to fully surrender, that's how long it will take for you to start to just get into the current that begins your journey to your destination. You see, you might think that while you're in the current, you're still moving in the general direction, and you are. But while you resist it, you resist your destination. Your muscle tension is a physical manifestation in your body of not being ready to receive the thing that you theoretically prefer. And so in this way, we are all holding ourselves away from potential, pleasure, attainment. Now I could talk until I'm blue in the face about this process, but the deal is that nobody can teach you how to trust the current of the river. And it will take you as long as it takes you to do it. And you're going to experience moments of complete surrender, and you're like, hey, I did it, this is great. And then you start to wonder, okay, but now how long until I get the thing that I want? And so just know that when you're in this place, which is perfectly normal, this is where we all go, allow yourself to be completely surrendered, but think about and imagine and visualize yourself already in the completion, the reception of the thing that you are desiring. See yourself having it, owning it, being it, displaying it. And then feel as if you have it. So it's like, just one great example. I really want to win the lottery because I just want those millions of dollars. It's going to feel so good in my life. So you want to, as you surrender, you want to hold this fantasy, this daydream about how you're going to feel like 3 months after you've already won the lottery. Once you've gone back to your normal life and you're trying to integrate this newfound freedom you have, that's the person you want to be. Get past all the craziness, the excitement of actually winning, and all of the bureaucratic nonsense you're going to have to go through in paying taxes and actually getting the money. Let yourself be down the line, set, complete, done, buying the things you want, moving to the place you want to be in, surrounding yourself with the things that you like, and surrender completely to this fantasy. We're going to sit up tall. Exhale deep. Take this bolster away. Bring yourself back into the bound angle foundation. And if your knees are feeling tight, feel free to straighten up the legs as you will. Whenever you're ready, you find yourself in bound angle with the hands back behind you. Relaxing your neck. Taking bigger, deeper breaths. Offloading that subtle tension and anxiety that sits in your chest all the time. And in this stillness, take the left knee up and over to the right side. Nice and easy. Both the knees are over to the right. And our top left knee drags back to the inside of the foot. You sit up tall, you play around with this dynamic of comfort to the right, pressure to the left. Where are you and what feels good? We sink the left hip into its socket just as best we can without ever resisting it or holding on to the pressure or trying to stifle it or ignore it. You find the sweetness in your breath. Just because it's pleasurable to breathe in this way. Find the feeling in your chest. Whether it's the individual heartbeats or just the general sense of your heart's energy. You are aware of this feeling that you are creating in your chest. Think about your heartbeat as if it was a drum. And if you were to strike a drum at the same rhythm as your heartbeats, with the same intensity as your heartbeats, you would be carrying a tune with rhythm and tone. Find that feeling in your chest. Release the subtle muscle tension that you still hold in your shoulders, in your neck, in your hands. You get so good at finding this stillness, this neutral place. Now build a momentum and find something pleasurable to fantasize about. It could be an imaginative visualization. It could just be the feeling of exhaling out discomfort or inhaling in invigoration. You may find pleasure in expanding your awareness as you find the pulses in your wrists. Understand that there are infinite sources of pleasure. Some you prefer and some you don't. Some things that you call displeasure are pleasurable for other people. You understand in this way there is no right and wrong, only what you prefer. When your relationship to your breath and your heart becomes the primary focus in your life, and the quality of your life becomes the primary objective of your focus, you will forget all about the things that you don't prefer, because who cares about those things? Leave them for the other people who enjoy them. Every breath you take is a reconnection to something that brings you joy. Understand that this is not just something we do in yin class. This is something you do all day, every day. You are breathing and your heart is beating, and whether you know it or not, you are feeling. Whether you know it or not, you are selecting preference. Whether you know it or not, you are rejecting things and you are accepting things. Yoga would like you to become consciously aware of the things that you already do, and then just be more responsible about how you do it, because you know what the other option is. It's exactly what you have now. If you have everything that you could ever dream of in this moment, then great. Keep doing what you're doing. If there is anything that you would like to adjust about your experience in life, you do so by getting into the current, surrendering to it, and fantasizing about pleasurable things while you're in it. That's it. That's all. Understand that the better you feel, the more sensitive you are. And the more sensitive you are, the more open you are to the things which theoretically agitate you. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. More money, more problems. Recognize this as a law of reality and move on with your life. Release the things you don't like and hold on to the ones you do. Lean to the right. Nice and easy, let the left leg out long. So that when the right foot is folding into the upper left thigh, we place this bolster under our knee. And in this place where you're setting yourself up to fold over your legs, start to identify some things you don't like. Some feelings in the body you don't like, some sounds that you can hear that you don't like, some emotions within that you don't like. And as you fold forward with effort, squeeze, feel those things you don't like, leaving your body with your exhale. And just land into a comfortable place. Let all of your fidgeting be for the best. Let all your fidgeting be for finding even deeper sensations of pleasure. And then once you feel like your plate is full, breathe into it. Once your plate is full, go eat, enjoy, experience. And when you have finished everything on your plate and you have enjoyed all that you can enjoy, be okay with not going back for seconds. And just see how long you can stay full in your pleasure. Your ability to stay full will depend on how efficient you are at releasing the things that bother you. With our inhale, we'll come up. Extend both legs long. Sit back in your hands. We shake out the feet, knees, and ankles. Nice and easy, we're going to make our way onto our knees, so that when we sit back on the tops of our feet, we're sitting down towards the heels. And if this doesn't feel good for you, you can use a bolster either on top of the heels or in between the heels to lift up the height of your hips. And as you move forward and back with your chest a little bit, you move left and right with your hips a little bit. You reach your arms all the way up to the ceiling. Stretch, reach, hold your movement here and let your breath come in and out. Relax the neck. And as we take the hands down, let the whole weight of your upper body get soft and heavy as it goes down into your legs. Around the shoulders, around the back. You're trying to create the most amount of pressure in your feet that you're capable of handling. Focus on it. Feel the discomfort. Allow yourself that, and then breathe. Your job here in this pose is to overpower the discomfort of your feet with the pleasure of your breath. Focus on the breath more intently than you feel the discomfort. Understand the difference between this and suppression or distraction. We are fully aware that we are uncomfortable right now, and we are choosing instead to see another option. Bigger, deeper breaths may assist you. When there is more pain, more discomfort, bigger breath takes us over the hump. One way or another, with or without your hand, identify the heartbeat. And for the next 3 minutes, you make your choice. Are you going to suffer the discomfort by feeling it and focusing on it? Or are you going to create pleasure by focusing on it and feeling it? In this way, you live in heaven and hell at the same time. Whichever one you choose to recognize becomes your reality. When we learn how to derive pleasure from the breath and the heart, you'll find that you have a never-ending supply of pleasure that is waiting for you whenever you choose. An infinite source of pleasure. And you will understand that all of the things which agitate you, bother you, frustrate you, disappoint you, all of the things that bring you discomfort are temporary and external. It is our memory of these things that really bothers us. It is the impression that they leave in our mind that truly eats away at us. When you find the pleasure in your breathing and in your feeling, you are in the present moment, and the memories of your mind have no power over you. We take relief here by using hands by the knees, and nice and easy, let those feet come out to one of your sides. Get your hips down on the floor, and very slowly let the legs out long in front of you, letting the breath out freely as you exhale out all of this pressure in your ankles and your knees. We're going to come down to our backs. So you are flat onto the mat. Take just a moment to reset your shoulders and your hips and feel how sturdy you are. Bigger, deeper breath. As the left knee comes into the chest, you grab on with your hands. And you move that left knee to the left and to the right to soften it a bit. Exhale deeply to release the emotional response that you have to this. That sense of shock. At this point now, your ability to feel good is so powerful. Your ability to connect with your breath and your heart is so powerful that when you allow yourself to feel the discomfort in your hip, it goes away on its own. It's like the more you allow it to feel uncomfortable, the greater potential it has for transformation. With the left hand down on the floor by your left hip, you can take a twist with the right hand guiding your knee over the body to the right side of the floor. You squeeze in all the places that feels good for you to squeeze, and you exhale and relax the body whenever you desire. If we come back to this analogy of the river, getting into the current and surrendering to it, understand that this so-called desired destination of yours that you're trying to get to, it's not real. There's nowhere that you need to go that isn't right here. And that all of life lies within your ability to get into the current of the river with trust, softness, and compassion. It all lies in your ability to be able to have dreams and aspirations and fantasize about them without the resistance of, this will never happen for me in my life. You will get to the place that you think you want to be when you learn to trust your present moment experience. And the more you learn to trust your present moment experience, the more pleasure you can take from every present moment will accumulate into a huge wealth of pleasure in your present moment. It's cumulative. Your potential is exponential in nature. Your last breath here. I want you to take your left leg flat down to the floor. Let out the stress of it. Bring your right knee into your hands and move that knee around a little bit to find different sensations, ones that feel good, ones that don't feel good. Every pose is like a new situation. Every pose is like getting back into the river. So we use our effort. We find things we like, things we don't like. And then we remember that all we have to do is feel the breath. Find the heart. And focus our conscious awareness on the things that bring us joy. Not as a labor, but because this just feels better than focusing on things that don't bring us joy. When the right hand comes down to the floor, the left hand will guide this knee over into the twist to the left side. You squeeze the lower belly muscles and push into all the places that feel good for you until you're ready to stop and you let go. It seems silly, but in a way you have to teach your mind that you are worthy of experiencing joy and pleasure on a consistent basis, and that it's not some fairy tale. It's not something reserved for other people. You have to teach your mind how to find beauty, harmony, everywhere that it looks. You teach your mind how to select the things that it prefers and release the thing that it doesn't. Because for some reason or another, we have all been matured into this way of understanding the world. It is a hard, cruel place. There are limited resources, and if you're not strong, you won't get what you want, so you have to fight. This is one story. It's not wrong. It's just not the whole story. Yin Yoga doesn't teach that story because you already know it. And so Yin Yoga fills in the other half of the equation. Your effort plus your surrender equals your harmony. This is your last breath here. When the right leg goes down flat to the floor, we find ourselves setting the foundation for Shavasana. Extending the legs, squeezing muscles, locking joints. Shoulders reposition, back of the head resets. Bigger, deeper breaths. And with a big, stable foundation, find the safety and the security which allows you to release and feel your body get heavier as you do so. You find the rhythm in your breath and you feel the tone in your chest, your general sensation. Muscle tension releases from you. And you just allow yourself here to drift off and fantasize about something desirable for you. You start to make little movements with your fingers and your toes. Little movements with your wrists and your ankles. Little movements with your elbows and your knees. And with a big deep breath, you reach your arms over your head, stretch your whole body, squeeze all your muscles, and whenever you're ready, exhale to relax all your muscles. Find that wave of relief. Understand, just as there is current in a river which gives it its power, every wave has force behind it. We can use this force to feel relief in the body, and we can use this force to move the body. And so with this inhale, squeeze all your muscles as tight as you can. And then with this exhale, instead of just letting it out, let it out while you start to sit up. Exhale through your transition up to your seat. Take as many breaths as you need until you find your alignment in your cross-legged foundation. You return to that sweetness in your breath as if you're smelling a flower. You come back to the feeling of your heart in your chest. You find yourself releasing the things that agitate you. And as you move on with your day, you simply continue this process. Breathing and feeling because it feels good. Releasing things because it feels good. Holding on to things because it feels good. And whenever you catch yourself not feeling good, exhale deep and shake it off and reset yourself. Identify, what is it that has set me off my course? What can I adjust to bring me back into alignment with what I know feels good?